Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. And if you're my previous subscribers, welcome back to this channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing Donald Trump being at war with Iran. I'm going to talk about the possibility of the U.S. being under attack, and if so, what's that going to look like? Also, we're also going to be discussing the economy and the stock market. Now, just a reminder to anybody who's watching this as this is being replayed, this is a live stream reading, so I'm going to be interacting with the audience as we go. But anyway, besides the point, if you have not done so already, I just posted a video about like 2 days ago, in a very important message from Spirit in regards to the Iranian war or would-be war. I found it to be very interesting that less than 24 hours after that video had been posted and uploaded, the thing that Spirit warned Trump not to do, well, he did it. And that's what we're talking about in today's video. So, hello, Arlene. How are you, my love? Hello, Warrior. So, this video in particular is being recorded on Sunday, March 1st at 7:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as and when I'm recording this specific video. If you want to help out the channel grow, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, and the bell icon, engage with the content, sharing this video with others, and even hyping this YouTube video really help boost the algorithm here on this YouTube channel. Alright, so let's get on moving. I hate long intros, and so do you. If you want to watch any videos in relation to Trump and Iran, the U.S. being under attack, possibly I covered it back, I think, in May or June of last year about the possibility of a real attack on the U.S. and also a fake attack. I did both. And then we're also going to talk about the economy and the stock market. You can find all those videos in the link in the description and the comments below if you want to kind of like reference. Anyway, let's go ahead. I figured the best thing to do before we do start off with this video is to do a little bit of a singing bowl to kind of get all our energy in alignment. I know some of you guys are probably scared or in a state of fear. So I figured by doing a little singing bowl meditation, we could put a protection on all of us and you'll feel a bit better. So, I kill two birds with one stone. Let's go ahead. Let's do it. And what you do right now, I just want you to close your eyes, relax, get into the most comfortable space you can. And I'm going to do my traditional, what's it called, channeling and protection prayer that I always do prior to making a video for you guys. But here I'm going to do it live. I call upon my higher self, my spirit guides. Arsenal Michael, Arsenal Gabbard, Arsenal Raphael, Arsenal Uriel, Arsenal Ariel, Arsenal Uriel, Arsenal Nathaniel, Arsenal Thackeray, Arsenal Metatron, Arsenal Shamil, Arsenal Joseph, and any all other archangels. I call upon you today to surround me, my viewers, my dogs, my cats, my fish, my reptiles, myself, my YouTube channel, my psychic intuition, and my energy and my visions with white light protection, divine love, and accuracy. Allow me to tap into the frequencies of the Akashic records for clear and concise information as needed, but not limited. Allow me to see what can be, what will be, what may be. Allow me to understand what it is that my subscribers and I need to know at this very moment. Give me the capabilities and the strength to be able to articulate in the most formation the vocabulary to transcribe the energies in which I am receiving and to formulate the message of communication to my subscribers. I ask for you guys today to cleanse out our root chakra of any negative entities, negative thoughts, negative beings, any impurities, any biases. You may not clear it. Cleared. The sacral chakra cleared. Solar plexus cleared. Heart chakra cleared. Throat chakra cleared. Third eye chakra cleared. Crown chakra cleared. Aura cleared. I am in alignment. Clear out our room, the tarot cards, the playing cards, the phone, the books, the computers, the waters, the light. Anything that's negative, you may now remove it so that we are in alignment, that we are protected, we are grounded. From any channel messages from within me and hours to my subscribers, may it be up the light, with the light, is light, nothing less, nothing more. I call upon Arsenal Michael, Arsenal Gabriel, Arsenal Raphael to ensure just that. And also, but lastly, but not the least, I also ask for you guys today as well to protect the YouTube channel from those who wish to do it harm from within and from the outside, and to allow us to become the best version of ourselves. I am one with the universe. I am the universe. I am with the universe. I am love. I am light. I am happy. I thank you. I love you. And namaste. You guys can open your eyes whenever you're ready. That is a little bit of a protection prayer that I put on us, and that's normally what I do before I record every video, but specifically for this video, I felt like you guys needed some additional protection. Hello, Dennis. How are you, my love? All right, so I hate long intros, and so do you. Let's talk about the strike on Iran and the possibility and the connection in relation to Donald Trump and Iran and Israel. Okay, so Spiritual Angel, tell me about Donald Trump striking Iran. What is that all about, and what do you want us to know? This video is just for entertainment, educational purposes only as well. I forgot to include that. Okay, so there seems to be a challenge here to Donald Trump's ability to orchestrate this attack on Iran. I'm doing mostly better. Thank you, Dennis. And thank you for all you guys who have sent your well wishes. I do appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Love you. All right, so let's talk about the attack on Iran and what we need to discuss about today. So the first card that we get is the King of Cups. Now, if you watched my previous upload in regard to Spirit's message for Donald Trump not to attack Iran, which we obviously know he did, the King of Cups in reverse is saying a man who promises peace and stability around the world. The King of Cups is saying in reverse, he is the one who makes sure that peace is not around the world. He's the one who creates chaos. He's the one who creates problems. Right? This is the problematic leader. Now, when we go into the second card that came out, we have the Three of Cups. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you'll be familiar, right, with this side always representing the future and this side always representing the past. When we look at the articulation and the way in terms of the direction, the way the tarot card is looking, it's very similar to facing the future, which means it operates under a challenge and a positive for Donald Trump as well when he does and go ahead and make this decision for strike, which we know he did. The Three of Cups, the fact that it is a mere challenge and a positive for around the world, it does indicate that in some capacity, it does put somebody in a death position. And specifically, I'm getting the word celebration. So we know that the supreme leader of Iran was murdered or killed during the strike. So that is the quote-unquote positive, but there's always a negative, and I will tell you why it's a negative. Okay. So let's go back to what I said about what we were going to experience this year in the 2026 timeframe. I think it's either this one. Yeah, I believe it's this one. This is dated December the 31st, 2025. And the challenge started at 10:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so as I go to look here, it says here, it talks about a death of a person. So let's see if we can find that. Okay, so we have it listed right here. You can pause the video, you can pause if you want. I'm going to read it to you. It says here, Trump will face repercussions for something, but not for all. Punishment is in his cards. Death will grace three leaders. And as one dies and the world rejoice, leaders watch, wondering if that is how they'll die too. Change will befell them too, but as all do, there's a twist. What does that mean? That means that three leaders in particular, their lives will be in danger, they will be threatened, but one will die who start making the other leaders question if that is how they'll be killed too. So, if this has any relation to what's going on in Iran, it will tell us the mindset of Netanyahu, who is the prime minister of Israel, who fled to Germany, and Donald Trump right now, who hasn't fled at all. But just warning you now, there will be an attack on U.S. soil, and it will be because of Donald Trump directly. Hello, James. How are you, my love? So, going back into this, the Three of Cups is indicating a celebration. There's a positive, but there's always a drawback. What is that drawback? The drawback was, well, just because you got rid of a supreme leader, guess what you just did? You sealed your fate. This is the Three of Cups. So, in a way, there's a positive and a negative. It talks about the consequences of your own action. You know the karmic saying where, like, sometimes what you put out into the universe, whatever you do, be careful because it can come back onto you the same way you put onto others. That's what I'm talking about. Now, going back into the reading here, the card that is hidden or was hidden is the Fool card. The Fool card means being very cautious. Well, you would think so, right? But in this case, it means taking the risk, knowing that the ground is hollow, that the ground can give out any minute. That's why the Fool card comes here. It's followed by the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles means the lack of funding, the lack of resource, the lack of direction and cohesive understanding. What does that mean? That essentially means that the attack done by Donald Trump on Iran is not sustainable. And it was further amplified by Spirit 2 days ago as well. It is not sustainable. The U.S. doesn't have the resources and the capabilities to self-sustain a war the like to which Iran is going to give the U.S. economy, the U.S. stock market, the U.S.'s military a run for its money. It's being further amplified by the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is, oh, look at me, look at what I was able to achieve. The Nine of Cups is talking about ignorance. It's talking about the capability of a president who's saying, look what I was able to accomplish. Look what I did for you. This is ignorance. This is blatant hate. Now, why is this important? Well, have you guys watched recently Donald Trump, or even saw on the news or reports of people talking about how Donald Trump really said, well, some of you guys may die, but that is the price that I'm willing to pay. That is a line that came directly from Shrek, but also Donald Trump has also said the similar line. This is the Nine of Cups. It is indicating that type of ignorant behavior. Now, in that way, it's going to bite him in the ass, and here's why. Well, the card that comes in after that type of press release, that type of attitude, just saying that I am invincible, you have the Tower card. The Tower card is reversed. It's reversed for right now. Now, if you've been with me for a while, sometimes the reverse card for a Tower means minor event. But sometimes, more often than not, especially when the Tower card is reversed, at least here on the channel, it can sometimes flip upright, causing a major problem. So something that appeared minor could become something major later on. And that is exactly what it is talking about. That is exactly what is being mentioned. So it's saying that the thing that Donald Trump thinks he's going to get away with is going to be the thing that's going to lead to his eventual demise, to his eventual downfall. It can actually be something that could appear minor, could become very major, and it can actually kill him. And the reason why I mention this is back in one of my visions back in, I think, 2022, and I also did a re-uploaded video back in May of 2022 or June of not 2022, May of 2025 and June of 2025. I also did a video on a vision of how Donald Trump was in the airplane and the plane got shot at the sky. Now, it didn't say Donald Trump dies in a plane crash, but it could very well be a possibility that Donald Trump's plane could be under attack, that Donald Trump, the presidency, could be under attack. So whatever he puts out into the universe, he will receive. Now, that's the karmic due that he is going to receive if he continues to go down this line. Now, also mention as well, when Donald Trump did this war type apparatus, especially the strike, guess what happened? He did it under Mercury retrograde. He did it when all the planets were in alignment. The question you got to ask yourself is, what is this guy thinking? For a guy who is fully committed to the occult, who practices black magic, you have to think to yourself for a moment, what the hell is wrong with you? Everybody knows you don't start a project during a Mercury retrograde because that always backfires in the end. And that's exactly what the cards have always indicated, that if the U.S. was to ever go to war with Iran under Donald Trump, it had always indicated a pushback. Even back when we did videos back in May and June of 2025, it has always indicated bad things happening for the U.S., more specifically to Donald Trump and his reputation and his ability to hold on to power. That is not by happenstance. That's by design, because Donald Trump, in essence, he might be smart in terms of how to use the occult and black magic, but he is as effective as a dumb doll who does not know how to use the astrology to his advantage. Now, I'm not trying to insult him in any way, but I'm just stating the simple fact that Donald Trump, for a guy who does a lot of black magic and the occult, doesn't really seem to understand or grapple the concept of astrology. And astrology is oftentimes more than not used for billionaires and millionaires. They use it to their advantage. That's how they target certain things. And believe it or not, they do use it even in politics. So it is pretty more self-evident. But the fact that Donald Trump didn't time this right tells you everything you need to know about where Donald Trump is mentally. Now, going back into the reading here, we also have the Seven of Wands, and that follows after the Tower card. Why is that very important? Because this indicates an attack. It means a defense. It means somebody's on offense. Now, what does that mean? When you take a look at a field, right, specifically a football field, and somebody enters your territory, what are you going to do? You're going to try to take the ball and throw it back to their side to be able to get into their, I guess, I don't even know what that is, but it's like a yellow thing, and it has like a pole in the center. You throw the ball over. Again, you can kind of obviously tell I don't watch sports. But essentially, your job is to take the ball, get it away from your side, and to throw it into the other side's target. What does that mean? It means that although Donald Trump initially attacked Iran, there is a very strong possibility of an attack in the U.S. related to here. And that is why it comes after the Tower card in reverse. Because the Tower card in reverse indicates a minor event that could easily turn major. Now, the more bigger the event, the more damaging it is for Donald Trump long term, right? That is why the offense card, defending your own territory, is the Seven of Wands. Now, it's also followed by the Ace of Pentacles. Now, I've said this many times before, but this is reversed, and it's reversed for a very peculiar reason. Why? Well, it's reversed because it indicates a resource. It means the economy. It means the stock market. So, what does that mean? If you want to weaken a nation, just say like the United States, who has a lot of military backing, has a lot of allies, has a lot of people in all swaths of the country, you can't target a group of people because everybody's all spaced out. So how do you take out a nation that is very much full of resources? Well, instead, you take out the supply. So what would some of the places be? Florida, Texas. Texas has an oil rig. That's a perfect area to attack. Again, this video is just for entertainment and for educational purposes only as well. I'm not telling anybody where they should or should attack. I'm just simply stating facts, is all I'm saying. If you want to attack an economic hub and you want to do some permanent damage for the economy, you attack New York City. If you want to do some damage to the military, you attack the Pentagon. If you want to do a statement, you attack the monument. If you want to be able to create some sort of damage that kind of scares a nation, you attack New Jersey. If you want to be able to attack the military, but specifically more military bases, you attack Virginia. There are many aspects across the entirety of the U.S. that has in some way a resource base. And so if you were to take out the U.S., you attack the resource, you don't attack the civilians. You attack where it hurts the most, and that is the most effective. Because remember, they don't see the U.S. as a threat as entirely. They don't see the civilians as a threat. They see the government as a threat. And the only threat to the government is creating instability within a region where the people have no choice but to rise up against the government. So what does that mean? That means that technically, if a country really wants to create some sort of really strong instability within a nation, you don't start going to war with that nation. You attack the vital hubs that prevent the civilian from uprising. If you attack those areas, the people will be like, well, I have nothing else and the government's not fixing my problem. They're going to rebel, and therefore you have a civil war on your hands. And all it does, it takes almost practically nothing from that nation to bring that nation to its knees. All you got to do is attack the resource that makes people rebel, and by doing that, the country or the regime forces a change. And that's exactly where the U.S. is heading. That is why the Ace of Pentacles in reverse is indicating that whatever tactic is going to be used against the U.S., it's going to be by design to force a revolution against the sitting president or the sitting administration in the White House. So that is the reading for the ramification and the consequences of Donald Trump attacking Iran. Thank you. Yes, I do feel a little bit better. So thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, does a large and small Hadron Collide CERN have anything to do with these world leaders doing criminal things towards others? That's a whole other video for a whole other time, to hold on to that. Dennis, we will cover that in another video soon, I promise you. Vita, yes, Chris, you will make a great representative of the will of the people. Thank you, my love. Thank you, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Eventually. I'm getting there, but eventually. All right, so, hi, Debbie, how are you, my love? You want to know, will there be any biblical historical building to be damaged in Israel because of this war with Iran? Honestly, if you look at the building in Israel right now, and this is just look at it from a different perspective here, they're not owned by Israel. They're owned by all the countries around Israel too. It isn't Israel's history; it's everybody's history, right? It's the religious history. So I could take a look at the aspect of buildings in Israel, but if anything, it wouldn't necessarily matter as much. It would matter more so if they attack during a historical holiday or an event or a gathering of people where everybody is in close proximity to each other. Hello, Nathan. How are you, my love? So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at that. So Spirit Angel, tell me about Israel. Will they attack any historical building that is very predominant and has a lot of historical roots? I don't believe they will, particularly because it does have a lot of ramifications. Because remember, it is the global issue, so it would drag in a lot of people because it feels more of like an insult to people. That's what it feels more than anything. The warrior, who is Bibi? I have no idea who Bibi is. Okay, let's take a look. The first card that comes in is the Seven of Cups. Let's see, double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we have the Seven of Cups reversed. This means one path, one direction. We have the Three of Cups. This is celebration. This is multiple religion. This is like, Muslim. This is Arab. This is Judaism, and this is Christianity. No, this would be a very bad move if they were to ever pursue that. This is also the high priestess. This is like religious aspect. If you were to initiate that, you're asking for a religious war. Here we do have as well, we do have the Six of Pentacles. If they were to pursue an action similar to destroying historical monument and historical building, this is the Six of Pentacles. What you're going to do is you're going to enter in a new phase of the Crusades. And the last thing we want to be in is in a situation where we have people being killed just simply under the guise of war, and specifically more directly religion. In the future, we do have the Two of Swords. This is a challenge, a decision that will challenge the defense of Israel. This is the Seven of Wands here. It does say the land will be under high scrutiny and high challenges. It could create instability within the ground, on the ground frame network. What does that mean? It means that all these bombings that's going on, all these things on the ground, all this movement of change could actually make buildings crumble, but they won't be physically attacked. It will just be because of the environment creates a sense of instability within the ground that it had no choice, it had no strong foundation to be able to self-sustain itself and be fully erect. So I do see that there's a possibility. It'd be kind of similar to like an earthquake when there's a lot of seismic activity, a lot of movement. It creates a lot of instability within the ground and the building crumble. That could be very similar to something of that sort, but I don't see an actual full-on attack in terms of historical building, a historical monument. Because remember, it does have a lot of historical weight to it, and it can cause a crusade, which is something everybody does not want to experience again. Particularly, we should not be fighting for religion, but yet here in 2026, that is still very much a relatively a thing. Anyway, some of you guys have some questions, and we got to go back into the reading, guys. I don't know what the Eastern Gate is in Israel, Dennis. I have no idea what that is. Okay, can you see how Netanyahu is doing? Thank you for that. So let's take a look at Netanyahu. Okay, Spirit Angel, tell me about Netanyahu. Apparently, there's a report that he went and escaped to Germany. Specifically, more ironically, what is that we're saying? You ever like heard of like what's it called? Like the connections and the correlation between JFK and Abraham Lincoln, how Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln and Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy. Kind of like that, the correlation. Like how what's it called? The guy ran into a Ford theater, he got killed, and then the guy ran to a Lincoln warehouse or something similar like that in terms of correlation. What I'm seeing for Netanyahu is kind of similar to that, where like the Germans murdered the Jews during the Holocaust during the 1930s, where the Jews had to escape Germany. Now the opposite happened, where Netanyahu escaped to Berlin in Germany. So kind of correlation here, but something similar to that. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look and see how he's doing. Okay, so we have the Hierophant here. That's a little concerning. Spirit Angel, tell me about Netanyahu in Berlin or wherever he is. Tell me about him. Tell me about him. Okay. Ooh, okay. He has a big challenge coming to his leadership. He's going to be removed. Something's going to take him out. Either he's going to be killed, he's going to be assassinated, he's going to be in a strike, or he's going to be taken out in some way, possibly. I don't know what the laws are in Israel and how they elect their people or leaders, but it does indicate that there is a sense of removal in that sense. Here we have the Hierophant. And the Hierophant does face the past in terms of this direction. As you all know, if you've been with me for a while, this is the past, this is the future. The Hierophant is facing the past, which means the government in terms of Israel is injured. It does indicate that there is some sort of problem with Israel in terms of its government. Now, it does look like, if anything, if it doesn't have the structure integrity to be upright again, there's a very high probability that the government in Israel could collapse instead and become a challenge. But it does look like the way that the cards is facing, it does give me the appearance that Israel, in terms of its prime minister and people within the government, it does look like it is struggling to hold on. It does look like it's injured in some capacity. When we look at Netanyahu, and more specifically where he is in terms of his life at this very moment, it does not tell me that he's dead, but it does tell me there is some key indicator that does cause problems for him later down the line. We have the Five of Cups reverse. And the Five of Cups reverse normally indicates a funeral type behavior, indicates a death. This is saying that you won't have it easy, is what I'm getting. I'm getting that Netanyahu, specifically the life that he's living, the life that he's leading around the world, the change that he's causing around the global sphere, it does tell me that his karmic energy, his karmic timing is up. He's going to start to experience the karma in which he caused. He didn't have to experience this karma. He doesn't have to. He didn't have to. He didn't have to do any of that. That's the funny thing, is that he didn't have to do any of that, but yet he chose to do it, and that's the difference. And so the fact is that the Five of Cups reversed is saying that his karma is coming. And so the world that he lived in, the more hate and more karmic that he pursued, the more brutal his death is going to be. Now, or it could even not be his death, it could be the ending of him, the ending of that political leader. We have here as well, we have the Temperance card in reverse. This creates instability. This is instability. You see the cups here, the two cups are full, and it's kind of like flowing very smoothly, one into the other and back into the other. Well, it's reverse. It's saying that your cups are no longer full, which makes a lot of sense because you think about it here in this aspect here. You have two cups remaining. Now, in the Temperance card, those two cups are also gone. It's followed by the Five of Pentacles, which means to walk away. To just know when it's no longer your time to walk away. But no matter what he does, no matter if he tried to reverse the fate, his time is now remembered as the devil, the oppressor, the one who controls everything, the one who oppressed. Remember, I said many times before on the channel that we're going to enter into a phase where the oppressed become the hunters, and the oppressors become the hunted. And that is where we're getting to this point now where Netanyahu will be hunted either to extinction in that terminology, or hunted in terms of him being forced out of power, being behind bars, being in jail, possibly being murdered, possibly being striked. But regardless of how his story ends, it leads to the plausibility that Netanyahu is losing power. And it falls underneath the Hierophant here. The Hierophant indicates injury to the government of Israel. And it is on this point here where it's more tipping towards the scale of a collapse. And if it does, it falls right on top of the Five of Cups reverse and the Temperance card reverse, which means that those two cups that you thought were full are gone. There is no protection here for Israel. I have a very strong feeling, based off of how these cards are going, that there won't be in Israel. There won't be a one-state solution. There won't be a two civilian division. It's going to be one dominates the other. And that's really where we're heading in terms of Israel and Palestine. And it does look like Palestine is going to win because Israel was not meant to be there. And that's why I'm getting that Israel was a band-aid to a solution. But the things that come out about the foundation of Israel causes it to crumble. The things that Israel did behind the scenes, engaging with this behavior with, satanic occult, Jeffrey Epstein, all these things, is going to start to lead to the downfall of Israel as a country. It's going to lead to a more symbolic, more biblical prophecy of what's to come. Because remember, the karma is due. And Netanyahu is part of that karmic energy. And because of that, they've been ushering this type of behavior, wanting change and wanting these different things or stuff like that. But here's the thing. The more karma that Netanyahu puts out into the universe, the more he will receive back. So if he's trying to create an apocalypse to be able to get some sort of biblical prophecy to appear true, well, guess what? Israel will fall very similar to the prophecy in which they prophesied, but they thought it would be for Babylon, not realizing that in this instance, because I'm not really 100% positive on the scripture aspect, but if this is the case and it's referring to Babylon, then Babylon will be referred to as Israel, and it will be the fall of Israel. But also, it could be coincided with the United States, because the U.S. is also very closely connected to Israel. So also, there is going to be an extinction here. 3 karmic death. Exactly, the 3. It comes in 3. We have 2 more leaders to go. Actually, oh really? Is there a thing with 3? Because remember that thing I got earlier was 3. So I'm really curious to see. Here, when we start to look at the future of Netanyahu in terms of his leadership and his potential, we have the high priestess. The high priestess is simply indicating the leadership position. Now, it has a lot of blue in it, and the blue also indicates Israel. Right? It indicates Israel, the country of Israel. It also indicates 2 different pillars, the dark and the light, right? The thing that's going on in Israel right now, at least in the area, it indicates the battle between the light and the dark. Who wins? Is it going to be the dark or is it going to be the light? And it looks, based off of Netanyahu at the moment, it looks like the light is going to win. The people who have been subjected and have been corrupted, the religion of Judaism, will finally have a chance to actually reclaim their religion and to actually be what it was supposed to be originally. This is a very positive thing for the Jews. A very negative thing for those who co-opted the religion, the same way that Christian nationalism has co-opted the religion of Christianity. The high priestess card also followed by the tower card. It means a removal. It means an ending. Right? The high priest is falling on top of the priestess, which tell me that there is going to be some strikes in Israel that's going to do some major damage, whether to the governmental institutions of Israel. But the tower indicates the downfall of Netanyahu. And here is followed by the star card in reverse. And the star card falls. He falls with the president. So it either indicates that either Netanyahu falls after President Trump is gone, or he falls coinciding with President Trump. But regardless, it does indicate that there is a falling out and there is a disruption, not only to the US, but also to Israel. It's like a mirror, but on 2 opposite sides. And when we look at my channeling from a couple of months ago, let's see where I can find it. Ooh, wrong one, I'm not even looking in the right area. It says here, death will grace 3 leaders, and 1 dies, and the world will rejoice. Leaders watch, wondering if that is how they'll die, too. Change will befell them, too, but as all do, there's always a twist. Okay, then here we also have something in regards to Israel. Where is it? This is not Israel. Okay, it says here, a leader will rise and fall per the natural structure, but one in particular will be celebrated and monumental, not what you think. So it's saying here that a leader will rise among the ashes like a phoenix and will quickly fall. This person will be celebrated, but it's not the person you want to celebrate. Okay, let's see. Where is Israel? Okay, here's Israel. You see it right here. This is dated on December the 9th, 2025. This is where we're reading the Israel thing. I have it written down. It says here, Israel will face crimes against humanity, making, Israel will face crimes against humanity. Markins will begin to doubt, or many will begin to doubt the Holocaust. A repeat is underway. The truth will be revealed. One state, one God, one people will be the new ruler of the land. The real Jews of the heart shall win, with the graces of the people of Palestine. It's basically saying that the real Jews, the Jews of the heart, will be united together with the people of Palestine, and together they become a unified country. Okay, what else is here? Something will go very wrong on New Year's Eve or day, somewhere close to the ball. May not be New York City though, could be in another nation or a city during an event. That happened to be Switzerland. Apparently there was an attack or something happened during the New Year's Eve party, something like that. Okay, let's see. This is the one that's right here. Okay, this one is called The Great Beginning. This is ironically about a year ago. This is March 11, 2025 at 1:14 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's read it. Okay, let's see. It says here, the Vatican holds the truth of what is and ever will be. The demons of the world have created it so that because they are banished from the Akashic records or the Akashic library, they seek knowledge from those who can and store them for that they are seeking something. It's basically saying that Vatican Archive is basically the demonic version of the Akashic records. Okay, let's see. Where is it referring to the Babylon? Okay. It's that the Antichrist. A soul for a soul, the devil say. The Antichrist is here. He doesn't belong here. So make the exile leave. The first area he will attack will be the Book of Knowledge, the place of demons, the Vatican. Then he shall head out west to Babylon, but that he shall destroy. Be not afraid, for that a resurrection is on its way. There are 4 antichrists, 2 in the west, 1 in the center, and 1 in the east. Be not afraid. You mustn't worship religion, but that you do not. Be kind is all we ask. That is the channeling that I got in March of last year. And I want to be able to just read you one last psychic channeling. This is probably one many of you guys haven't heard in quite a long time. And then we're going to go back into the reading. But this one is very, very important. You will realize as I start to talk about the channeling, how on the nose it truly is. Okay, let's just look it up. Okay, so this one is recorded on June the 10th at 2022 at 2:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I want to keep in mind here, it talks about the God. And this God is a false prophet. I want you to think for a moment about a world's leader who promises that he is a God. And I want you to make the connection. The Vatican. Something going on in the Vatican. Almost like something similar to an attack of some sort. Could even be a massive protest and potentially swarming of the cathedral. It may be even major news that everyone knew but never been confirmed, and the faith has been tarnished. It has something to do with Jeffrey Epstein and the whole pedo ring. Watch for the Vatican. News is going to break and people are going to go berserk, especially when they find out that they've been worshiping a false god. Then at this moment, they will understand the true meaning of, quote, do not use God's name in vain. What makes these people go crazy are similar to the lack of trust issues. anger, doing being lied to, and feeling scared of where to go from here. This is when I start channeling. The biggest news of all is when they find out that their belief, the belief that they grew up with, was a lie. It was all about manifesting an entity of which doesn't exist in our reality yet. The belief in the God of our time, the God of which was promised to save us, never came. For that I said he does not exist, but it's within I that I say he shall come at a time no one is expecting. It is that I, that when I come, the ground shall tremble, the world as you know it shall collapse, and the false illusion that I created for you starts to fade, uncovering a reality in which you live. They call me the master of illusion and deception, and this is yet to be my greatest show yet. I shall not reveal myself until the year 3000, but it may come sooner, where you will not know, for that I will walk amongst you, hidden within the deepest shadows of the earth. But when my time comes, you shall hear me roar, for that I had come, for when you called me, for when you believed in me, for that each soul has been given to me, a trade, one may say, in turn for external salvation, for that I will use these souls, these energies, to lift me out of dormancy. I shall come, expect me, I am coming. May the portal be opened by all of you, and I shall step into your world and wreak havoc, the likes of which you never seen. That is the channeling. Now also think about too the soul that they harvest. What happened to children? Why did they? You got to also think about it too. Is that people who are in the occult, who do magic and participate in dark activities, what are oftentimes the most common thing when they take children? Children are pure, but they're also energetically pure, which makes them the perfect vessel for a sexual exchange, an exchange of energy. Right? That's why they always say be very careful who you have an interaction with, because it's an exchange of energy. That's exactly what that's referring to. And you can kind of see here it also refers to the Epstein. It referred to a godlike figure that everybody looked up to, and the reality has been shattered. Right? That was something I posted many years ago on the channel, and I have consistently posted it and talked about it on the channel consistently. And every time we refer to it, it gets crazier and crazier and more understandable. Like we're able to understand it on a more deeper level. Okay, so now we talked about that. We talked about Netanyahu. We talked about Trump and Iran. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about the U.S. under attack and what that's going to look like. We already got a preview what we're walking into. Let's go ahead. Let's find out a little bit more. Then we're going to end the video with the economy and the stock market. Okay. So Spirit Angel, tell me about the U.S. under attack. Is the U.S. going to be under attack because of Donald Trump attacking Iran? And if so, what is that going to look like? I'm gonna have to do a video dedicated to Iran, but yeah. Okay, give me 1 minute. I'm just gonna turn the fan on. It's kind of hot. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you guys for waiting. I just need some airflow. All right, so Spirit Angels, tell me about the U.S. being under attack. What is that going to look like? Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm getting from my right ear with my clairaudient ear. They're telling me that if they're concerned about an attack in the U.S., they're saying not to worry about it because we're already under attack by the current government. We're having essentially a coup. We know that, but they're just reiterating that that's not going to be as damaging as a coup. So they're saying that it should be your main focus. Going back into the reading, though, we're asking about the U.S. being under attack. We have the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. This is very interesting. This is interesting for a couple of reasons. This also means Social Security. It means 401k, Social Security 401k, and what's the other one? I'm hearing like a 3-letter digital, but it has to do with money. I'm hearing like IRS or something like that. Okay, so money. There's a lot of money. Whatever is being attacked in the U.S., it has to do with money. And the next card that comes in is the 7 of Wands here. It means being on defense, followed by the Knight of Wands. Instead of someone coming to the aid to help the country under attack, instead there's a fleeing. What does that mean? It means that the leadership in the U.S., when this attack does occur, is going to see a government fleeing from a solution, from fleeing from problems. Instead of pursuing avenues to stop the bleeding, they're going to just walk away. It's like the best way I could describe it. You ever seen like a mean girl in high school where they see somebody else struggling, they see them bleeding or being punched or knocked out, and everybody looks down and just keep walking. So essentially, US, you're going to be like the bully kid who's being bullied, being beaten up, and then just the government is going to be walking by, just looking at it, and okay, going to keep walking. Kind of that type of energy. And it's followed by the 6 of Pentacles. Why? Well, the country's being beaten, the collective is being beaten up. We have them stealing money. That's why the justice branch. Because what happened with the judicial branches of government? It is bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is slow and tedious and it's very slow moving. Trust me on that. I know that from firsthand experience. The 6 of Pentacles being reversed means that because the government is very slow to move, the money, the finances of the nation could be funneled out so quickly that the bureaucracy, by the time they realize, there's no money left. So if anything, they're going to see this attack as beneficial. Not something designed to hurt the government that's currently running the U.S., but it's going to be designed to give them a point of vulnerability to be able to funnel money out before the government even realizes there's no money left. And here's the thing, the government is the one taking the money. So the fact is that they don't even realize that money is being funneled out tells you everything you need to know that there is death and thievery within the administration. It's being challenged by the 6 of Cups. And the 6 of Cups means previous administration, it means previous leader. This is when it's all started to begin. Now, what happened? Joe Biden was the former president of the United States. But the guardrails, because of Donald Trump dismantling some of the guardrails, and Biden didn't put up some of those guardrails, it didn't create extra protection. I'm not saying in any way blaming Biden at all, I'm not. But it does indicate that the previous administration didn't prioritize closing loopholes. It didn't prioritize fixing some of the problems that Donald Trump caused, because in some way, in some form, the previous administration truly thought that the bureaucracy of the nation can withstand the pressure of Donald Trump. What they didn't realize is that the bureaucracy is slow and brutal and very slow moving. Donald Trump is very agile, very quick. And because of that, the two combinations together, one overshadows the other. Now, here's the thing. Eventually, the bureaucracy will win. Why? Well, if you are very familiarized with the story about the hare versus the tortoise, eventually the tortoise reaches the finish line, the rabbit never does. You might have fast, you might have speed, you might have agility, but eventually the tortoise will get to the finish line. The bureaucracy of the government will get to the other side. It's just going to be very slow, it's going to be very brutal, and because of that, the damage will be very much felt. But the bureaucracy will win in the end. The question is it worth that? Is it worth waiting this long? Do we need a government that's more highly effective and able to be more agile, more quicker? That is something that's going to be undergoing. And because of that, this is the attack. And it's referring not only to a foreign attack, but it feels like even if there was a foreign attack, the real attack is within the government. The inside is the thing that's really the main attack here. And it's also being followed by the Star card in reverse. And the star card is very interesting. Why, you may ask? Well, the star card being reversed indicates a couple factors. Well, the star card being reversed indicates, at least to me in this aspect, the star is indicating the leadership. It's indicating the position in which the U.S. government is in. It is in a very weakened standpoint right now, but it's being followed by the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles means funneling, it means money, it means allies, it means resources. So what is going to be happening here, that what is the U.S. going to be defending when it is under an attack, under war, is again goes back to what I've been saying consistently on the channel. It's resources within the U.S. government, resources like the oil, food, electricity, military. This is what this Knight of Pentacles is referring to, and it's followed by the Moon card in reverse. The Moon card revealed the weekend hitting points. Now here is the Moon. The Moon means the two dogs are not paying attention. They're howling at the Moon, not realizing that the predator is right behind them to take them and drag them into the ground. Right, and here are the two structured, and here you have the stem, which is powering these two dynamic structures. The fact that the Moon card is reversed is saying that there's a lack of power, there's a lack of cohesive, energetic contribution. What does that mean? Well, it means that there's going to be a lack of flow of money, of communication within the U.S., which tells me that during the time of this attack, it's going to occur when communication is down, when the government is ineffectively able to communicate between one another. This could be during a Mercury retrograde, this could be during a blackout, I don't know, but whatever it is, it could also be failure of incompetence too. Right? There's many ways that this attack is going to occur, but it will occur nonetheless. But the main attack is going to be within the U.S. government, who's going to see this as an opportunity to funnel the rest of the money out before the bureaucracy realizes that it's out of money. Here, we have three cards. The first card that comes in for the attack is the Eight of Swords. What does this mean? The story is being written. The story is coming towards the end. Now, if you look at the actual tarot card deck, this is the guy with holding the American flag with 10 swords on his back. This is the story, right? Here you see this man who's making this pledge, who has almost twin tower-like apparatus behind him. Here you have Tulsi Gabbard, and then you have the Taurus card, which means the bull. The bull indicates the economy, the stock market. What are the three things that's here? We have foreign interference. You have an unrattled economy, and you have here an attack on American soil. And what do we have to show for that? We have to show the Eight of Swords. We got what we deserved. The Eight of Swords. Followed by the Knives of Wands. This is the cult-like apparatus. Now, I said many times before, if you watched my previous upload in terms of Spirit's message and warning, that if Donald Trump were to, go after Iran, it's going to lead to the crack in MAGA and the crack in his support base. And this is going to be the Knight of the Wand. His support is going to start dwindling. And because of this, you have here, what are the ramifications of this attack? Well, we have here an attack on the institution of government, the attack on the way things are currently running in government. Here you have the Democrats running at the tornado, a blue tornado, and then you have the Republicans setting things on fire. And together they create a dynamic that isn't very effective. It's creating a dynamic that is very dangerous. What does that mean? It means that there are many Democrats, and I've said this many times before on the channel, this has been very consistent, that there are Democrats here who actually support authoritarian tendency. There are many Democrats who support a lot of Donald Trump policies, just don't openly say it, but listen to their action. Don't listen to their words, listen to their action. Be ready and willing to criticize anybody, whether Republican or Democrat, who are unable and able to call out things the way they are. If they are willing to back or to say one thing, to say a hard, strong-worded message, but does the exact opposite, watch them closely because they are a tornado. For the Republicans, though, be ready for them to burn down things. The Democrats will help them. But here's the thing. Not all Democrats have it in to destroy things. There's a lot of Democrats who want to do help. The thing is, pay attention to who is actually on your side and who is actually against you. Because I've even said before, many times on the channel, that there will be a rise of blue MAGA. Just like the Republican, Democrats will be propelled to the same thing. They will undergo the same thing. Do not fall under that spell, right? Some of you will eventually, because you won't realize it. You don't believe it until it is too late where you realize, oh my God, I'm actually in a cult. You don't realize that. You never will until somebody helps you break free or lets you break yourself free. But if you know the warning signs now, you can prevent it. You can prevent it. All right, so now that we understand the U.S. being under attack, we understand that there are two-party bureaucracies in the U.S. government that is working together under the same guise and the same goal, that's appearing as theatrical opposition. You understand that? So let's take a look at the economy and the stock market. We had the bull there. The bull indicated instability in the country, instability in terms of the economy and the stock market. And we obviously know that there's a problem with the resources in the U.S. government. Yeah, people didn't think the government would fall so quickly. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the economy. Spirit Angels, tell me about the U.S. economy over the next 7 months. Okay? U.S. economy over the next 7 months. U.S. economy over the next 7 months. Okay, this is the environment. What's the next 7 months? What we have March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay, let's do it. Okay, give me the cards in the order of each month for the U.S. economy. April, May, okay. June, July, August, September. Okay, let's see. What's the economy looking like over the next couple of months? We have 2 challenges. We have the 8 of Pentacles. This means the 8 of Pentacles facing the past tells me that the economy is no longer grinding. There's going to be high unemployment. There's going to be where even people are working more effectively, but the production in terms of income and wages are not going to reflect the hard work of America. So the thing is that what I'm seeing is that more Americans are going to be working, but the payoff is going to be very drastically different. And because of that, it's going to be make this entire thing very, very different of an environment where the economy is very unstable. The economy is really where it's really important, because the economy represents the overall collective. It represents us, where the stock market represents the rich and wealthy. Here you have the Page of Wands here. It's also followed by growth. It's also facing the past, which means that in the past, even when you worked hard, you had a little bit of growth in your money, you had a little bit of growth in your economy and income. That is facing the past. Here you're being followed by the Queen of Cups, which is the position, which means there is a cap on the growth. What does this tell me over the next 7 months in the U.S. in terms of the economy? It is actually no longer going to be growing. It's going to be either declining or being very stagnant, but it's not growing in the next 7 months. Here, when we look at each month by month basis for the U.S. economy, the first card that comes up for this specific month is the Four of Wands. What starts the initiation of the economy kind of being in free-for-all? Well, the Four of Wands in the month of March of 2026, it indicates to me here that there's a failure of government, and there's going to be some issue where government is going to be the reason for why the economy becomes unstable in the month of March. As we start to head into April, we have the Five of Wands here. The Five of Wands is reversed. It does create a sense of volatility, but unable to come to a solution. But there will be a temporary band-aid. So it does tell me that some of the problems economically that's being caused by the government in the month of March, which is this month, follow into the month of April, is going to cause a temporary solution in terms of the economy is going to kind of like be on the back burner. So some event is going to happen in March that causes the economy to be in the back burner, or like behind people's mind. It's not going to be front and center, not going to be a main issue. Something's going to happen in April. It's going to make people forget about the economy temporarily. It's not going to be the main concern. However, going into the month of May, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 8 of Wands. The Eight of Wands simply means being uprooted. Something is coming to the forefront. Something that's very hard and rooted. What does that mean? It means that things are going to be taken out of precaution. So that means in the month of May, a lot of people's lives are going to be uprooted. There's going to be massive changes in the way people are living their life. There's going to be a change in the lifestyle of ordinary Americans or the way of life in general, whether that means that maybe getting 5 jobs, or maybe that means that life becomes harder, or that the economy showcases itself to be very fragile, or even better yet, where prices of food and inflation skyrockets in the month of May. So something's happening here that a lot of things start to rise. I do feel like if anything, it's either going to be a rise in prices or a rise in inflation. Regardless, there's going to be a rise in something, but it's not going to be to the benefit of the growth of the economy. Here, following to the month of June, we have some hardship, so it does feel like the growth has happened in terms of prices and inflation in the month of May. Into June of 2026, we have a lot of hardship. There's a lot of difficulties. This is the 10 of Wands here. It means trying to push ahead, but you have many, many obstacles. If you think about it at this moment here, you have this guy who's pushing these 10 of Wands, and you got to ask yourself for a moment, like, why is he holding it like this? He could just easily bundle them all together and throw them on his shoulder and walk. But he doesn't see that. He doesn't see a solution. There is something here that is blinding, which means that there is some sort of incompetence with the economy and how things could easily be improved. Instead, people just cannot find an easier way to make their lives easier. Not saying the American people, I'm talking about politicians here, the government. Donald Trump cannot come to a solution to find the way to make lives easier when it is so obvious how you can. All you have to do is bundle it and put it on your shoulder, and all these problems, all these obstacles now become a building tool. Instead, you create these obstacles because it's on your own fault, and it's something that could easily be fixable. In the month of July, which is going to be a major, major event, just so you know, a major event in July, it's going to be a lot of problems, a lot of things coming out, especially possibly assassination, possible death, major attack, major war. There's a lot of things that can happen in the month of July in 2026, especially as Pluto peaks exactly at 250 years old. And that indicates a lot of problems for the nation. Here you have it, the King of Wands. This means the Vice President. I do think that it does indicate that there could be a change in leadership in the month of July. It could be temporarily, it could be a permanent change. We don't know, but there is going to be a massive change in terms of how the government approaches the economy come July. As we start to head into August of 2026, we have here looking at all the problems, looking at some solution. There is going to be a solving of one issue, but there's going to be more and more things being piled up on the specific change in government or a leader. There could be massive problems hemorrhaging in the U.S.'s economy. There could be more problems to solve than having things solved already. So what does that mean? It means that they're going to be then constantly building. The economy is going to become very unstable, where no matter what solution they put forth, no matter what they do, it won't stick. That's August. September, we have the 6 of Cups. Is going to cause a change in how the American people perceive politics, how they perceive policy. So what does that mean? It does feel like in some way people in the U.S. around the month of September of 2026, it does feel like there is a shift in dynamic, a shift in behavior, where they're going to start to desire more socialist, more progressive, humanitarian policy, not communism, progressive policy that help progressive people forward. So more like Duran Mamdani or AOC, that type of progressive style governance, they are going to be craving that in the month of September. So what does that mean? If there was a special election, because of the economy and ineffectiveness of the government over the next 7 months, it leads to a dynamic where the political playing field, the party switches in terms of who they want to lead the government. This would be the 6 of Cups here. It does mean that the country starts to become more progressive, away from the centrist, conservative dynamic that has been playing out in the U.S. for over 250 years. It does indicate that the U.S. as a collective is craving progressive policies. something very different, something they hasn't had. The only president that has ever been progressive would be FDR. This is the energy that's giving me is FDR style governance. The top deck indicates a 7 of stories here. It does indicate that there is going to be a blowback. There's going to be an attempt to steal people's money. It's not going to go over very well with the American populace. It's going to lead to a downfall of a leader. It's going to be the 4 of swords. It's going to be the ending of a leader. It could also be the ending of a certain governing of the economy or the IRS or whatever it is. People feel like money being stolen from them. It's going to be the ending of that specific thing. Even if that means a corporation. The bottom deck is the 6 of Pentacles. This means justice will be on the side despite black dark magic or dark money. There is going to be a funneling of money. This does tell me that there's going to be people begging in the economy for some sort of solution, something to help them. And here you have is the stock market and the rich making the rich richer while not helping the ordinary American. So this is the economy. You can kind of see how the story starts to slowly progress, where there's a change in leadership, there's a force of a policy shift. It cannot even be an actual leadership change, but a change in how the leadership approaches the economy and how it perceives it. But by that point, the damage has been done. And then the people start wanting to have more progressive policy and viewpoints like that. Let's finish off the reading temporarily with the stock market and kind of see where the rich people are putting their money over the next 7 months. And then we're done with the video. All right, Spirit Angels, tell me about the stock market in the United States over the next 7 months from March all the way to September of 2026. Okay, we have an energy here that does indicate, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. This is the 6 of Pentacles, like I said earlier. Okay. Tell me the next 7 months for this U.S. stock market, the next 7 months. Oh my God, it's just 7 months. Okay. Okay. March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay. There's no tower card, which doesn't indicate a crash. It just indicates a down spiral of the economy. And in terms of the stock market, it looks a little different. Okay. Okay. I also think that July also indicates there's a problem with the stock market in July. Okay, in the month of the month of March, excuse me, of 2026, this is the King of Wands. We have stability within the stock market. This means that a lot of people investing in the stock are putting their economy and their, they're stocked in conservative mode. A conservative mode basically means that you put minor growth, but you have very low risk. So right now, it does look like the people who are doing stocks are putting their money in a movement where the stock market is very volatile and they see that they could lose a lot of money. So there is a sense of instability in the month of March. Now, going into April, we have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune indicates things start to go downwards. So whatever the trends were in this month, in March, it does the exact opposite in April. So it's going to be the exact mirror, but it's going to be in the opposite sense. So if, let's say, the stock market blows up in March, it's going to come crashing in April. It could be the opposite. In the month of May of 2026, we have the Lovers card. There is going to be a sense of separation. There's going to be some sort of disagreement among people in terms of investors. It does look like some people are going to put money somewhere. Some are going to divide it. It's going to create a volatile where people just don't know where to put their money because there is some sort of instability within the stock market, which tells me there's going to be some growth in the stock market in the month of March. April looks like a downward crash. Because of that, May appears to be where people just don't know where to put their money. It's not even safe to invest. It's basically what they're saying. Again, I'm not a financial expert. This video is just for entertainment, educational purposes only. Sorry. Then it's followed by the Hierophant, which is followed in the month of June. It does feel like the government is able to create a sense of stability. It does offer something to these investors. So I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump or whoever's in charge of the U.S. government puts something to get people to invest in certain areas to give the false illusion that things are recovering, but in retrospect, that is not the case. There's a sense of bribery in the month of June for those investors. In the month of July, we have again another card that indicates major problems in the month of July. There's going to be a lot of defense, offense, the country under attack, whatever it is that's going on in July during the 250th anniversary. There's going to be a lot of instability in the stock market. It is something, if you're looking to invest, I would be very careful with your money in July, is what I would say. Going into August, we have here the stock market is going to be very, very, very weak because of July. So whatever happens in July, it is going to be still very strong in terms of its weakness. It's not going to be able to be very. It's not going to be very strong at all. It doesn't appear to be very strong. It feels very volatile. It looks like it's going to go further down. So if you think July was bad, wait till August. August does look like it's going to keep continuing that trend. It's either going to stay consistent down or it's just going to continue crashing. Regardless, it does look like over the next 7 months, it looks like the stock market is going to take a big tank. But as we start to head into September, it does look like the investors kind of got their crap together after 2 months of volatility in the stock market, and it does look like they're going to be in a better place in September of 2026. But it does look like there's going to be a reshuffling of investors. We have instability in terms of leadership, and things are going to be kind of going up in terms of stock market in March. April, at least, a crash, a complete opposite, a complete mirror, followed by the leverage card, which indicates a disconnect where people don't know where to invest their money. The government is going to try to bribe a whole bunch of stockbrokers and people who are investing to try to make the false illusion that the economy and the stock market are doing well. The month of July is going to indicate instability within the United States that's going to cause a downward spiral, not only in the economy, but also in the stock market. It's also going to further weaken in the month of August of 2026. However, it's going to bounce back in the month of September of 2026. It's going to take about two months to recover. Here you have the overall energy and the reading and the environment. We have the temperance card, which means instability in the stock market, indicated exactly as it is, month by month preview, followed by the 10 of Swords reverse. The 10 of Swords reverse means it's not going to be the ending of the stock market just yet, but it is going to be the beginning of the end for those investors. So if they don't choose to support the American people during a time of difficulty, they will be on their way out. Okay, that was a lot of reading. We covered a whole bunch of things in today's video, from Netanyahu to the possibility Trump going to war, what the consequences of that, the U.S. being under attack. We talked about the possibility of historical buildings being destroyed. We talked about the economy and the stock market and what that's going to look like. A lot of stuff here. We even covered psychic channeling and things like that. A lot of stuff in today's live reading. Thank you, all of you, for staying with me and being with me here on this YouTube channel. I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the support you have given me here on this YouTube channel. It did not go unnoticed. I want you to know I love you. Have a great night. And do not be afraid. We got this. I'll see you soon. Bye.